Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today it's going to be the Super Nintendo version of Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo. I did a Let's Play on the NES version not too long ago, and I'm pretty sure in that video, maybe not, I think I said I probably would not do this version, but here we are doing this version. I've actually previously done a playthrough of this on Twitch, which I have actually archived on my YouTube channel here. But you know what, I figured, since I'm going to eventually do the Genesis version, and I've already done the NES version, I'm going to go ahead and do the Super Nintendo version. I went ahead and played through it again recently, recently being like today, and, you know, I figured out a couple things about it that I did not know before, which made the experience a little bit easier, kinda not really. So we should be able to get through this without too much trouble, so let's go ahead and just jump right into the game. One of the interesting things about the Super Nintendo version on Joe and Mac is that you've got this map screen. It doesn't really do a whole lot. It's just more style over substance, but it is there. Also, you start off with no weapons in this game. I mean, technically, I guess your club is a weapon, but, you know, a useful weapon. So your first weapon's actually directly above you, and you have to use this first pterodactyl to get it. And you can actually jump on top of enemies in this game. I mean, pretty sure you could do that in other versions as well. Oh my god, we missed it. Hey, get back here, dude. Oh, I am disappointed. Alright, so it doesn't... Well, okay, we can use this guy now. I'm pretty sure you could jump on enemies in other versions of the game, but I think you would hurt them. In this version, you don't hurt enemies by jumping on them. You actually just stand on top of them. And you basically just use them as like platforms. And so that's going to be a reoccurring theme of the game. And you'll notice that I actually just picked up the bone. And in other versions of the game, of Joe and Mac, you really don't want to be picking up other weapons. Because you're going to lose whatever weapon that you want. But in this version, you can actually hit select and cycle through your weapons, which is really interesting. I had no idea you could do that until today. The option screen doesn't tell you. It lists the controls for attack and jump and nothing else. Even though there are other functions in this game that I found out about earlier today. So, what have we got here? Another bone. What you're going to find in this game is that they give you a lot of weapons in levels, but they just recycle the same weapons over and over. And I think that's for the included two-player mode. Here's the flame. The flame is actually, it's kind of crappy on its own, but it is the most powerful shot in the game. And so if you're fighting bosses, you generally want to be using the flame if you can. And if you're good with your shots, it's still good to be using it in the regular levels too. I don't like it as much as other weapons because, again, you can only shoot it out one at a time. So, like, you've got to wait for it to stop. Whereas with the other weapons, you can just really pummel them out. Especially when you're jumping. You can shoot faster when you jump in this game. So if you're the kind of person that wants to just use regular weapons on bosses or something like that, you want to be jumping and attacking to do the fastest amount of damage with those weaker weapons. At boss fights or even just against regular enemies, the flame is the best. It's just you have to be very accurate with it, because if you miss, you're left wide open. See, like if I miss with that, I've got the club and that's it. So, alright, so there's going to be this dinosaur guy here. You definitely take it out the fastest with the flame. And so we're going to actually be using the flame a lot throughout this game. You know, I say it's not my favorite weapon in the game, but in reality, if you're good with it, it's probably the most useful weapon just because you take out enemies faster. This game's notorious, at least among me and my friends, for being kind of a pain in the ass to get through because enemies take so long to take down in this version of the game. Boss fights especially as you get later on in the game. But through discovering that I could cycle through my weapons today and actually, you know, utilizing the flame, because I would never play with the flame before, it was too slow. I would always use the boomerang or the wheel or even the bone if it came to it. But the flame is definitely the most powerful, and if you can connect with it frequently, then that's definitely the way to go. So once you finish a boss fight, you're out to the boss screen, and you've got these little checkpoints here. I'm assuming those are like respawn points if you get a game over or something. I haven't gotten a game over in a while, so I'm not sure what actually happens with those. If anybody out there is really familiar with this game, please post a comment below and let me know. But yeah, you just go from level to level, and this is pretty much it. There are these blue areas on the map that are blocked off. You can access them with special keys. Unfortunately, they're not really that special. Really, all they do is refill your health. They're like little mini bonus rounds that allow you to fill your health. Nothing terribly special, unfortunately. So there are some other bonus areas that'll allow you to get extra lives and so forth, which are useful. But a lot of those you just kind of run into as you play the game. You don't really need to get secret keys or anything like that to access those, you know, bonus one-up areas. It's really kind of an odd design choice, actually. They're like, here, have a secret area and take a ton of extra lives. But the uber secret area that requires keys is just health refills. It's like, what? I can get health in just like normal levels. Why do I need a secret stage for that? It actually, something else to keep in mind in this game, I discovered this earlier today, is that if you are running low on health, you can actually play a stage over again if you want to, and I did that earlier. Yeah, you can go back to the very first level and go back to the very first level and play through it again, because it's easy, and just get all the health that's there, and there's a lot of health in that level. So one thing I also figured out earlier today is, like, on this boss, you can throw your boomerangs behind them, and then as they come back, they'll connect with him. If you throw your attack straight up, or straight at his mouth, he'll actually, like, absorb it and then spit it back out at you. You'll still do damage, but it's a lot safer to just shoot behind him. So this is kind of cool. I didn't know there were like little tricks to certain bosses like this. A lot of bosses in the game do have sort of like safe spots in a way, and you'll kind of see, for some bosses you'll see those. Others you won't, because I'm just going to take a lot of damage. And I did want to let you guys know that I actually literally just woke up as I started this Let's Play. I didn't eat anything, I didn't drink any water or anything. I'm just kind of like, I used the bathroom and I'm like, let's do this! So if I start like trailing off or not talking right, it's probably because I'm either hungry or still tired or groggy or whatever. I actually meant to wake up earlier today before I went to work to do a Let's Play, and I just... I didn't get much sleep yesterday, so it was one of those days where, like, I just set my alarm back, or kept setting my alarm back. But yeah, I do want to get some more Let's Plays uploaded. I've got about 5 Let's Plays I can do right now, games that I'm pretty well practiced on from playing them on Twitch and whatnot, so I want to get those taken care of. So stay tuned for that. I've got quite a few games to do. Bunch of NES stuff that I'm going to eventually try to do Joe and Mac on the Genesis. I need a little more practice on that game, though. You know what's interesting is actually there was no extra life down there or extra meat. The last time I played it, there was an extra life where that caveman dude was. So that's really odd. It seems like some of the item drops or item placements are just randomized in this game. That's actually very odd now that I think about it. Oh, he come... What? Come on, dude. Why'd you come down from there? And that's it. Although we've already lost a life, so that's not good. Although there are a lot of extra life opportunities throughout the course of the game. And you might even be able to play certain levels with extra lives in them again. And this level right here is a stage where we should find a bonus level within the stage itself. It's just one of those levels where it's like, hey, here's a secret level, so have fun. And the secret levels is actually where you find your keys, which will allow you to open up the gateways on the map screen to get some extra health without having to play through an extra stage. Or an extra full stage, I should say, because the bonus stages are still stages, technically. They're just, you know, very short. You can end them right away, actually, if you want to. For like generalized play, when I'm just, you know, fighting enemies that only take a hit or two, the boomerang is definitely my favorite weapon in the game because you can throw out 3 at once and they just really cover the screen. They litter the screen. They just sit out. And here's our bonus pterodactyl. That's what we'll call him. So he basically takes us off to a bonus stage. And if you take the bottom path, there's actually a couple of extra lives. You want to grab those first, ideally. And go back and come on up here because this is gonna give us our first key. And again, the key is what gives us our map screen bonus stages. And then he basically tosses us back into the level we were just playing, and we finish it, fight the boss, etc., and just kind of move on from there. This level just really hands out the meat for some odd reason. And what I find interesting is that they don't actually give you points or anything if you've got max health. So if you're playing for score, the meat doesn't really do a whole lot. It just refills your health. And your health bar is actually not very big in this game, surprisingly. Although what you'll find is that most enemies do only take off like half a heart, so in actuality, your health is actually kind of large. I mean, you take about 10 hits to die. Although that's not to say you can't die fast. In some cases, like if you fall down a pit, you'll die instantly. So endless pits are the ones to worry about in this game. It's, you know, they cause instant death. Also, water is evil in this game. If you fall down into, you know, like the lake we're playing on top of today, like right now, you die instantly as well. So apparently you guys can't swim. You know, you're all buff and whatnot, but you can't swim. So now what's really interesting about this version is that they changed up how the bosses act. They changed up how fast you can take the bosses down. They also took out the charge attack in this game. There was a charge attack in the arcade version, as well as the Sega Genesis and NES versions. And those charge attacks, at least in the arcade and Genesis version, were extremely powerful, and the game literally revolved around them. What I'm going to actually do is come to our first bonus stage and use some health, or get some health. And it's really just falling meat from the sky. And you want to make sure you don't let any meat touch the ground, because once it does, the bonus stage ends. So, but once you get enough like this, you can probably just let it go. It doesn't really matter. But here's another function I actually figured out earlier today. If you hold down L, you'll actually run fast in the leftmost direction. If you hold down R, you'll run fast in the rightmost direction. Oh, okay, it's good to finish these out because there was an extra life at the end. Okay. So, if you want to finish that successfully, you really want to hold down the L and R triggers. it's kind of funny how it works, actually. If you hold down L, you'll only run fast to the left. So if you want to run fast to the right, you have to hold down R. So what you can do is just hold down both triggers. And that's a function that's not mentioned in the options menu. There's also an ability where you can double tap in a direction. Unfortunately, I can't do it right now. And you'll like roll across the ground. It's kind of interesting, actually. It's not something I use a lot, but it is something you have to be careful about because you might actually double tap your way off a ledge or something like that and die instantly. So like this right here, we're double tapping. Okay, but I want to actually try to kill this guy really fast. You can actually kill this guy in one cycle. Which I don't think I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm definitely not doing. That was terrible. I killed him in one cycle earlier today. He had 1 piece of health when he dipped below. So he goes down and you can actually just sit there and attack him while he does that. But hopefully he comes back up now. Oh, he's not. He's got to do this. Yeah, so in this version you can just sit there and just attack him like that, but in the Genesis version you can't. It just doesn't really work. See, that's why the flame's good. If you do it just right, you can kill some bosses really fast with the flame. Great, you've done it. Now do it again, and again, and again. I think we've got about 5 more levels to go. The game, you know, despite the map screen looking kind of big, it's actually not that large of a game. The levels are relatively short. They're not, excruciatingly long or anything like that. Some of the boss fights are going to feel like they're excruciatingly long. You guys will see what I mean by that in probably just a couple of boss fights. I think this boss fight's not too bad, but and it's interesting, I still haven't gotten the wheel yet. You know, of all this time, I still haven't gotten the wheel. Plenty of flames, bones, and boomerangs, though. The wheel's actually pretty decent. It's relatively powerful. I don't know if it's as powerful as the flame. In this part, I've never been able to get through without taking damage, so I'm not really sure how you're supposed to be able to do that. Like, I mean, I guess you gotta do it just right. See, right there, I actually double tapped by accident, which made me run into the spikes. So right here, I want to use these cavemen for that extra life. You basically hop on them. There's a couple of extra lives and items in the game that require you to do some clever hopping. Alright, so switch back over to the flame. And this guy's kind of a pain. He just runs back and forth. So what I'm going to do is just hold down L and R the whole time, so I can run a little bit faster too. Otherwise, he runs up forward like that, and now, one thing I've also noticed with some bosses in this game is that they don't, they actually have more health than what the health bar actually denotes. So your first hit, or I'm sorry, your first set of hits, it's going to take a lot more hits to take off their first bar of health. So what you see is not necessarily what you get in terms of the boss health bar. Whereas in other versions of the game, like the Sega Genesis version and arcade versions, your first hit takes off a bar of their health, so what you see is what you get. Alright, so I'm low on health again. Well, I've got 5 lives. Screw it. Let's just go through with it. Let's try to be safe, and we'll probably get some health here. Oh. Maybe we won't. This is one of those levels where we might not actually get anything. Okay, we got something. Okay, it's better than nothing. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. See, the cavemen will occasionally drop health. And if they go off screen, well, there's no health to be had because they're off screen. And yeah, there's not going to be any more. Yeah, and there's yet another bone. I'm not sure why there are so many weapons in the game, considering that you can actually just... You hold stock of your weapons. You don't have to, you know, it's not like other versions of... Whoa, that was close. It's not like other versions of the game where, where you can only hold one weapon at once. So it's... yeah. I mean, even in 2-player mode, we've gotten a crap ton of weapons already. I'm just really surprised it hasn't handed out a wheel. Like, it seems like some item drops in this game are kind of randomized, but in other cases they're not. It's not really sure how it works. I'm not going to try too hard to figure it out. It's the freaking Super Nintendo version of Joe and Mac. I don't care that much. I care, but I don't care that much, really. Alright, stop it already. Stop it. Stop it. Holy crap. That was a ton. Hey, like, he went back and forth like 6 times. And I don't really ever know which height he's gonna be at when he does his thing, so. There's the wheel. Yeah, completely random. Because last time I played this game, I definitely did not get a wheel there. And one of the reasons I say that it doesn't really matter if new weapons appear or not that you already have, because if you die, you don't lose your weapons in this game. In other versions of Joe and Mac, you would you'd be shot back to using your hammer. Now, in the arcade Joe and Mac, your default weapon for Joe is a hammer. It's like a stone hammer. Your default weapon for Mac is actually the bones, which is kind of interesting. So, as far as I know, the hammers don't even exist in this version of the game, which is kind of odd, all things considered. Alright, so I took that damage just to get some health back. I knew that I'd get a little more health than what damage I took. Ah, another bonus stage. We'll get some more extra lives, I think. And another key. Yeah, see, that's, I think, completely random, because, no extra lives? What? Come on. Oh, it's timed? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. I had no idea it was timed. Oh well, not a big deal. Not a big loss. There were no extra lives. All I care about are extra lives, because, I want to be able to beat the game, you know? Like, here's an extra life. I care about that, not keys. The keys don't really do me anything. I mean, unless there's like a super special stage that takes you to like an alternate final boss or something, which I highly doubt there is. If there is, and you know, please let me know. I am curious. It seems the rhythm at which this guy throws out projectiles is kind of random. And one strategy I was using earlier today was to just sit below him and then just move out of the way. But it seems like it's not really that reliable. Ah, and we're dead. Alright, let's try the other strategy. Get down below. Oh! Still got hit. See, if you get below, though, I think you can just hit him more. Yeah, so you take the boss out faster. If he spits out cavemen, the caveman will actually drop health as well, so that's something to keep in mind. Oh, get back here, caveman. So as you can see, these guys take forever to take down, and it's one of the things I like the least about this game. If you're playing two-player mode, I'm pretty sure you can basically do double the damage with the second person. My brother and I were actually playing this game earlier today, and it felt like the bosses were dying a lot faster with a second person. Yeah, that caveman dropped a little bit of health. I heard the pickup sound. But if you're playing by yourself, it seems like they don't compensate for the fact that you're playing solo and you're not playing with the second player, so the boss's health doesn't decrease when you're playing single player. Wow, another bonus stage opportunity. Okay. I'll take that, though. I mean, I want those extra lives. Holy crap, this is a good one. That's the best one yet. 3 extra lives and a key. I'll take that. Fortunately, the lava is not as dangerous as water, and you don't actually die in one hit when you touch the lava. Which really makes no sense when you think about it, but hey, video game logic, right? Right. One thing that I think would have made this game a lot better, and I'm surprised they didn't do this, is allowing your weapons to be powered up multiple times. So like if I picked up 2 flames back to back, maybe have it level up once or twice, you know? Maybe allow me to shoot out 2 flames at once, or make my flame bigger and stronger, equivalent to like the charge attack in the arcade version of the game. I think that would have made the game a lot more enjoyable. I mean, I think this game can still be enjoyable, but I really don't like playing it nearly as much as like the arcade or Genesis versions, because those are just, they're faster, you know? For one, the frame rate's faster in those versions, but two, the weapons actually do something in those games. Like, you know, you can take out bosses really fast in those games, and it feels satisfying. You know, in this, it's just kind of like this boss especially, you've got to hit him once and then let him go through his pattern 5 or 6 times, and you're just like I can't damage him right now. There's my first piece of damage. Now I have to let him go through his whole pattern again. Like, you don't have to do this in the arcade version. It just feels so much more satisfying than that one. Also, just regular attacks actually do damage in that game too. Like, when you're just doing regular attacks on enemies in this game, like with your bone or your boomerang, it doesn't really feel like you're doing a whole lot. But in the arcade version of Joe and Mac, it does. Like, you can just rely on your regular attacks for most of the game until you get to a boss. On the bosses, you want to use your charge attack. But, you know, it feels more like a run and gun. Joe Mac was kind of like, it's kind of like a run and gun, actually, now that I think about it. It's in that same genre or subgenre of video game platformers, where you do more shooting than anything, basically. That's you know, the core behind a run and gun. Like Ghosts and Goblins, that's more or less a run and gun. You know, you're relying on your projectile attacks pretty much the entire way of the game, or for the entirety of the game. In this game, it's just, it doesn't feel nearly as good. I'm not going to knock the game as much as I did in my Joe and Mac Twitch playthrough, because I do like the game more now, but it is still kind of a buzzkill compared to other versions of Joe and Mac. I do like the additions, I just think they could have done them a whole lot better. Like, I don't know, if you're going to do a map screen, why not just, I don't know, incorporate saving and more levels? Things like that. You know, incorporate some cool secret, like, alternate bosses and stuff like that if you got secret key doors or whatever. Implement upgradable power-ups. You know, if you can cycle through your weapons, why not have them upgrade at the same time? That way you also feel like you're actually progressing at something when you pick up more of the same weapon, you know? But, I digress. The game is well over 20 years old now, so, there's really no point in complaining, but still, it's just, kind of makes you wonder why they didn't think about these things. I don't really need to get any of these, things now, because I've got all the weapons in the game. I've got 8 lives, so I'm pretty good, so... But yeah, look at, like, how many hits it took to kill those guys. Like, it just, when you hit them once, they recoil, and when they're recoiling and doing their little funky animation, you can't hit them again. Which is... You know, it's just like, look at that. I completely missed him. Oh well. I do like the colorful graphics in this game, though. Like, when I played this for the first time again earlier today, my brother and I were both like, man, these graphics look really colorful, you know? Typical early Super Nintendo, you know? I like that style a lot. So, it does have that going for it. Alright, come on, caveman, I need to jump on your head. Bam, thank you. Get some meat. Alright, so this is a boss fight. What I probably recommend using is the bone on this guy. I'll do an example, because if you use the flame, he makes this, like, bowling ball pin sound, and you're pretty much guaranteed to take damage, but if you use the bone... Oh, he's still doing it. Maybe he does it for the first cycle. The first couple of cycles. Never mind. I take back what I said. Yeah, he's still doing it. God damn it. And as far as I'm aware, there's no way to avoid this, which is the crappy part. Like, you have to get hit no matter what. I hate bosses that do that, man. I've tried hitting the bones as they come down. You know, it doesn't do anything. But after a certain point, he stops doing that, which is great. So maybe at this point is where he's gonna stop doing it. Oh, I dodged it! Look at that! I'm the man. There we go. So now he's gonna do this pattern, where his head basically just comes back and forth. Let's see if we can do this without dying. If we do it without dying, we can go back and refill our health on one of the bonus stages, because I did get an extra key, remember? There we go, we did it. Cool. So the next boss is going to be another one of the T-Rex knockoffs, but then we go inside the T-Rex and fight a 2-4 and final boss. Oh, we don't even need to use a key. What I'm going to do is actually use the key here. I have no idea why we needed to use a key for that. That makes no sense. Like, some of this design is just really funky, if you ask me. Like, unless these, like, platforms or these, like, silver platforms have a purpose I just don't know about. I mean, if you guys know, please let me know. They just seem completely pointless to me. Like... I don't know. Now, when meat touches the ground, you have like 2 seconds to pick it up, and if you don't pick it up in time, the level ends, and so you don't have that extra life chance at the very end. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is I'm actually doing really well compared to what I was doing earlier today. Like, I got here with, I think, 6 or 7 lives, and now I have 9 lives, so that's actually really good. So, I'll take that. Ooh! Ooh, that was bad. That was really bad. See, that's just a waste of a life right there, man. I had full health and everything, pretty much. And that is why endless pits in this game are really bad. I mean, they're bad in most platformers, really. I mean, endless pits. But they're really, really bad in this game. Because generally, a single life will take you a long ways in this game. You know, you've got 10 hits on a single life, basically, so... That's pretty awesome, but, you know, an endless pit can take all that away in 1 hit versus 10. Now, one thing I figured out about this guy earlier today is that you can kind of just sit behind him. And of course, he takes forever to take down. Oops. One thing I was doing earlier today was just sitting from behind like this and attacking him with bones, and it was taking forever, but it was a way to hit him still from behind without having to get, you know, without having to like shoot up or anything like that. I mean, maybe this is the better strategy, but maybe use the boomerang instead. I don't know. I'm not sure which way's the best way to do it. All I know is that if you jump and shoot, your flame doesn't connect. And that's a problem. Man, these weapons are useless against those rocks. It takes like 4 hits with anything other than the flame, and the flame you gotta time it just right. It's like, no wonder this guy's pissed. He's got rocks inside of him that don't dissolve. I took so many hits that I didn't actually need to take, because I just wasn't playing very well. Alright, last level, guys. The final boss is a bit of an endurance round, but getting to the final boss isn't that bad. Using the wheel actually works out pretty well on this stage, for obvious reasons. You can kind of just see why. I'm going to use one of these guys as platforms for a weapon I already have! Yay! Yay, secret that doesn't really do me any good. If this was a different version of the game, it would, because I would have lost my weapons when I died. But that doesn't happen in this version. There is a super game you can play, but it's only for 2-player mode, and I think that all it does is enables basically, you know, player damage. So like, you know, player 1 could damage player 2, whereas in the regular 2-player mode, that doesn't work. That doesn't do anything. So. So first form of this boss is basically these dudes. And you take them out the fastest if you use the flame, but it seems safer to use the other weapons. Alright, second pattern now. We gotta actually fight this guy. So he basically busts out a doppelganger. You can take the doppelganger out, but I just usually just go straight for the little demon guy. Oops. Oh, okay. Usually I jump over top, but I wasn't paying attention. I did play this game earlier today and I beat the game, but I did not warm up before doing this Let's Play. I literally woke up and just went straight to it, so not paying the most attention. God, your flame is so slow. Accentuated by the slightly lower than usual frame rate this game has. So we actually haven't done it. We have to fight a second form. So he's basically invincible until he stops blinking. So basically, what makes this second form of pain is that you just have less opportunities to hit him. And so it's more of like... kind of like that boss in the fire level where, like, he's pretty much invincible for the majority of the fight. You basically just have to follow his patterns over and over and over again, and it's just kind of a buzzkill, actually. You're like, okay, long boss fight. We've already had many long boss fights. We don't need another long boss fight. Especially when you teleport spawn right on top of me. But just like other bosses in the game, he does change his tone of color. So now he's not bright blue anymore, he's a little bit more purplish, which means we've done some damage to him. And he might change color again. I don't know. Yeah, he's getting a little bit darker now. I am pretty sure we can do this with 7 lives, guys. I'm pretty confident. In the Genesis version of this game, there's no little demon. It's like the arcade version where you fight basically this big-ass caveman that's inside the dinosaur. However, you can also hit the heart to do damage. You can't do that in this version of the game. The heart's basically there as a gimmick for the demon. He'll like go poke the heart on his first form. Alright, that's it. I think we just beat the game, guys. And that was much less painless than I initially thought it was going to be. When I did my NES Joe and Mac Let's Play, people had suggested doing this game, and I was like, I played it on stream, I had no fun with it, so I'll never Let's Play that game, but here we are like a month and a half, 2 months later, and I just beat it. I just beat it. So it's not a very exciting ending. You just kind of see Joe and Mac walk to the right, and then some chicks come out, they run back to the left, and that's basically it. So yeah, that's Joe and Mac, guys. If you have any other questions or anything about the game, definitely post a comment below. You're going to see me Let's Play the Sega Genesis version sometime very soon, and you're going to see that there's some major differences in that, mainly because it's true to the arcade game. There weren't really any modifications done to it, whereas in this game there was a lot of modifications done. It still follows the arcade formula. You still go to a lot of the same stages, but the bosses fight differently, the weapons feel different, there's no charge attack. You've got extra moves, like the dash ability and the run ability, and the game feels slower overall. And then of course there's the map screen and hidden stages and blah blah blah. So they definitely consoleized the arcade game for the Super Nintendo a little bit. It's still very arcade-like I said, but which version you like more, say Genesis or Super Nintendo, it's going to depend whether you prefer the arcade version over the consoleized setup. I don't think this is really a bad game. I just feel there are a couple things that really stand out for me in this game, in that, for one, the frame rate is lower than it is in any other version of the game. It's like not a nice clean 60 frames. It's like sub 30 it feels. It maybe like in the high 20s. It's weird. Like everything's got this like sluggish feel and movement to it that you don't have that issue in any of the other versions of this game. And you know, it kind of feels like you're swimming in water for the entire game. You don't notice as much on the first level, but once you really get into the game where it actually also starts slowing down on top of it, you feel like you're walking in molasses or something. But yeah, it's still a fun game though. I still like it. It's cool going back to it, and it's cool that you can change your weapons. You can just hold any weapon you want. So I do like that. That helps the game a lot. If you try to go through the entire game with just the bone or the boomerang, you're just gonna be like pounding your head against like a brick wall on some of these boss fights. It's really gonna seem like it takes forever, and it does if you're not using the flame. So that's a really good mechanic to know about, being able to switch weapons with the select button. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Joe and Mac for the Super Nintendo. If you missed my NES Let's Play, feel free to check that out. I'll probably post that as a card in the top right-hand portion of the screen. Likewise, the Sega Genesis version, if I ever do that, I will do that, but when I do it sometime soon, I'll put that as a card as well in the top right portion of the screen. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Let's Play. Stay tuned for more Let's Plays coming up sometime very soon. I got a couple of good NES games I'm going to be playing through for you guys, and stay tuned for that. So, thanks again for watching, guys. Take it easy.